Welcome, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. It is Monday night. It is 10 o'clock, and we have replaced MJ with a much, much better version. That's right. Shani is back, and people, I can't tell you how happy I am to see her. Nothing against MJ. All right, we got our fix of MJ earlier tonight. Nothing against him, but no, we are very happy to have her back. She's got 5 topics, and since she's been off for 2 weeks, I thought about putting some pressure to come up with some extra ones, but I thought, you know what? Second thought, we'll go with 5. We'll ease her back in.
I appreciate that. Yes, I am back, and thank you everybody who has reached out to me. So if I didn't get back to you, it's not that I was avoiding you. I was probably sleeping because that's what I do right now. So thank you for everybody that was concerned about me. So I appreciate it. But I'm back now, and we are ready to go.
So let's start off with, are we going right down the list?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Unless if you want to switch it around, we can, but it's totally up to you.
No, I'm fine with either way. I just like to know where we're going, because when you start going, this one's really obscure, and I go, wait, what was next?
Like, that's not the next one on the list.
Yeah. Go ahead and start us off tonight. Where do we start from?
So let's do a little rock. Let's start with the Who.
The what?
Who?
The where?
What?
How?
Who?
Why?
I don't know.
Who's on first?
What?
Never mind. If I could do Abbott Costello.
Second? What's on second?
Yeah, there we go.
That's why I said what. That's why I said what.
Oh, see.
Because you get who's on first, and you go, what? And he goes, no, he's on second. Come on, I was with you.
The look you gave me, though, I wasn't 100% sure. So.
Well, that's because I'm still like in slow motion right now. I'm definitely in slow motion.
All right. Now. So rock band, Who.
The Who. Yeah. When was the last time you heard of talking about The Who? DJing or non-DJing?
20 years?
Yeah, probably. Maybe I'm going to say 13.
13.
For a reason. I'm going to say 13 for a reason.
Lucky 13. Why has it been 13 years and not 14 since I've heard of The Who?
Yes. Well, let me tell you, Dan, why. First of all, The Who are headed back to North America. For those that didn't know, it's not that they left North America. They're just headed back here because they are going on tour.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. Which is really interesting. Like that's going to be really interesting. So they're hitting the stage in the US and Canada starting May 7th. So they're doing a North American tour, and they're also promoting their first album in 13 years. So they are coming out with a new album. Roger Daltrey and Peter Townsend are really excited about this. They're happy. And just for people, for a little reference, Roger is 74 years old.
I was wondering, I'm like,
yeah. And Pete is 73.
So it's the Rockers tour. You're going to sit the Rockers.
Yeah.
And rock out.
Yeah. And this is called the Moving On Tour. That's what it's called. I'm assuming maybe that's the name of their album. They didn't say what the name of the album is, but I'm kind of assuming maybe the name is also called the Moving On. But yeah, their last album was 2006. That was called Endless Wire. So they did come out with one in 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have they talked how many stops have they released that part?
They did not release that part. They didn't release the cities or anything yet. That's going to be coming up. But they are letting you know that each pair of tickets purchased online, you will get a code for a CD copy of the album. Now, I remember I said this, I don't remember if it was Backstreet Boys or it was somebody else that also was giving out like an album. Maybe that's like the new thing for 2019, that for these artists, when they go on tour, they're giving out albums. So yeah, they said if you purchase a pair of tickets. Now, it's weird that they said a pair of tickets. So my question is if like you're a single person and you're going, do you not get a code for a copy of the CD because you didn't buy 2 tickets?
Exactly. It's 2 tickets to get the album. If you buy 1 ticket, you get the 8-track.
You get the 8-track. So that's very interesting. So they're coming out with a new album, and they're going on tour starting May 7th.
I wonder, and this could be kind of a hidden type of agenda behind the whole album thing. I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but when I hear about the idea of giving away these albums, my thought is, because they're doing it with paid tickets, I wonder if it can then count as album sales towards making the album look bigger than what it
on the Billboard charts
is. Right.
Interesting. I'm probably going to say yes, because that's an album sale.
But I'm just wondering if that's behind maybe more the purpose of giving it away, because in the same respect, if I guess if I buy it, do I have to wait till the concert before I can get my album?
No.
I doubt it says that. I'm just, that's my speculation.
Yeah.
Because if I don't have to wait, then okay, that, because personally, I
don't think you have to wait. I think because if you're buying a ticket for a date that's in July and that, album is dropping, in 2 months, I'm sure you could probably just put the code in, since you already bought the tickets, and that code will let you get the CD. So the Who, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into that whole generation of music, look it up. See if they're coming to a city near you.
And they should go play Woodstock too while they're at it.
I told you they haven't released the artist, so it'll be interesting. I thought that's for that concert.
They were one of them that had been announced.
No, as soon as I know the artist, I will definitely let you guys know who the artist. But they definitely said it was going to span a generations, different genres. So it'll be very, very interesting. Who they pick?
I see what you did.
I got humor.
Nice. All right. I think we beat that one to death. How about number 2 tonight?
Number two, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this is kind of funny. Funny and sad at the same time, but I'm still laughing. So I know numerous times we've brought up the song Toto's Africa in good ways and bad ways and mixed feeling ways and everything. Well, ladies and gentlemen, bless the rains down in Africa for real. An artist has the song on loop forever. I'm going to explain it to you guys.
Yeah, I need some help on this one.
I'm definitely going to explain it to you guys. So this artist set up a solar-powered sound installation in the Namib Desert. And this song will continue to play the tune on repeat.
For a little tiny speaker right next to it?
Well, he set up a solar powered sound system.
Yeah.
So he's got a 6-speaker sound system built adjacent to each other and attached an MP3 player that only has Toto's Africa on it. So the solar batteries are set up to keep the song going eternity. Now, while the setup is very durable, of course, because this is the desert in Africa, he expects, harsh weather conditions to, eat away over time. But as of right now, it's just going and going and going. So now you say, oh, okay, well, I want to go on, a safari. Where is it in the desert? Well, guess what? He's not giving anybody the exact location of where it is in the Namib Desert. He just says people will find it. So
okay, so it's not like in a hidden compound. No.
It's literally in the desert, in that desert. Yeah. So hurry up, boy. It's waiting for you. That's what I did there. Funny.
Yeah.
Toto Africa on repeat.
See, and you
those
thought you had
animals. Those poor animals.
Oh my gosh. And I'm just trying to think real quick. I think it's like 3 minutes, 30 seconds. So it's like 18 times an hour. Not quite. Close enough.
Yeah, it's a long song, the full version. Yeah.
He should spice it up. He should load like a remixed version.
No.
Throw in Weezer's with it.
No.
Maybe even Ocean to Ocean by Pitbull, just to really kind of
No.
Toto Africa.
On repeat.
Solid repeat.
For eternity.
The sad thing is I actually have a friend who, if I tell this story to him, I would not be surprised if he somehow puts together a safari trip to try and find this.
Oh my goodness.
He plays that song way too much.
People love that song. I mean, they love that song. I mean, that's why that song is one of the most streamed songs in the world right now. It literally is. It's literally one of the most streamed songs in the world.
Right. Once, twice. On repeat for eternity is completely different, though.
Over and over and over again.
I wonder if this was just one of those things like, let's see what we can do. What song should we put? Yeah, why not put on Toto?
In Africa.
Like, we're in the country. Let's put something out about our country on here. You know what's going to happen. The apocalypse is going to come. The cockroaches and that song are going to be found by the aliens, and they're going to go, what the? Yeah. And then they're going to dance, and they're going to start singing it.
I thought it was zombies for the apocalypse. It wasn't aliens. Isn't it zombies?
I didn't mean a zombie apocalypse. Armageddon, that's what I meant to say.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then Axl Rose is going to come with Bugs Bunny and the crew. See, everything just comes together on our shows.
And then the guy's descendants who just happen to survive long enough will have to load Axl Rose on instead.
It's a playlist right there.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes.
Number three.
Number three. There are a bunch of new, residencies for some artists, but they're not like a Celine Dion type residencies. There are some well-known artists doing some club residencies and everything in Vegas right now. So I guess that's like the hot thing to do right now is a club to just be like, hey, we're going to pay you a couple $1 million. You show up this many times a year and you do, a 20-minute set in our club and you're good. I want that job.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So right now there are, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more, but right now, as of like today, there are 4 new residencies for some hot artists. Drake has a residency. Cardi B has a residency. Christina Aguilera and French Montana has a residency. All 4 of them. Crazy. So Cardi B, I'll start with Drake. So Drake signed about a $10 million contract to do a residency at XS in the Wynn Hotel. If anybody has been in that club, it's one of the smaller, it's not like small, but it's one of the smaller compared to like Omnia or Marquee or anything like that. So he committed to a minimum of 10 shows. So that's still $1 million a show. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, does he get to pick and choose? I mean, you said it's kind of a different residency. Is this like, right. Okay, we're going to do one this Saturday and next one's like 2 months from now? So
with that one, they are talking about the dates. And I have a feeling with XS, it's just going to be like, hey, Drake just showed up and it's going to be all over social media. Okay. Yeah. Because they did not put the dates down. They put the dates down with some of the other artists, but they definitely didn't do it with Drake. So I have a feeling, Chainsmokers are going to be DJing and all of a sudden Drake just shows up and does this 20-minute set and people are just going to be like, what the? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Drake will be at XS. Cardi B will be at a brand new spot in Vegas. Vegas is popping out some new hot spots. So this is called Chaos, Kaos, and it's going to be a day club and nightclub, sort of like Dre's and some of the other places. So it's set to open in April. Chaos. and they already signed some other artists at their club. They're kind of doing what Omnia did when they first opened and said, these are going to be our set DJs. This is who we're getting. And Chaos is doing the same thing. They're going in with a bang. So they definitely said Cardi B is going to be there. G-Eazy is going to be there. Cascade and Skrillex are all going to have what they said exclusive residencies. So that's interesting that they said that. So now, because Cascade, I forgot where the billboard where he used to always DJ. I want to say it was, I don't remember which club he was always in. So Chaos got him now. So they upped his price probably, and Skrillex too, because he was doing a residency as well. So, and this is what's going to be interesting too, which I would love to see this when it opens. The DJ booth will be a rotating 360 booth.
Okay. Okay. I want to comment on so many different things of this, because when I hear residency,
yeah,
I think of an artist performing either nightly or a lot more than just really. This becomes like a multi-stop tour. It's almost like when Garth Brooks does stadium tours and he's in the same stadium for like 4 nights in a row.
Right.
It's like he has a residency at that.
Well, like I used to do residency at clubs. So every Saturday night I was at this spot all the time. That was the club that I was always at.
And with the DJs, I get that, because I get the feeling that that's probably what it is. Like Friday night would be Cascade and Saturday night would be Relics, whatever.
Right.
But when we're talking about the artists and they kind of keep coming back periodically,
they're saying that artist is not going to be at XS. That artist isn't going to be at, Dre's. That artist isn't going to be at another spot, because that artist has a residency now at this new spot. You're not going to see them performing somewhere else.
Okay. That explains a little bit more.
Yeah, that's why they say exclusive. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the whole 360 booth.
I think that's cool.
I get dizzy.
It'll be interesting.
I'd have to have Serato face just so that I didn't get dizzy from going, oh, there they are again. Okay.
Will be interesting. Plus, because this is going to be a day club and nightclub, so it'll be very interesting how they turn it. I don't know what they're doing with it as far as like the other day clubs that aren't nightclubs. They're just day clubs. So it'll be very interesting. I mean, like I said, this is set to open in April. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know where it is. I didn't see the exact location of where this is being built, or if it's turning into, where something else was, but I'm sure it's going to be built. Like they always find these little spots they found a spot for the stadium. So it's like, hey, there's a stadium right on the strip right there. So it'll be really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So next one is more of like a Britney Spears type residency, and it's Christina. She is jumping on the Vegas bandwagon, like a Jago, like a Celine, Lady Gaga, like those. So she is set to open May 31st at the Zappos Theater. Don't ask me where the Zappos Theater is. You will have
Las Vegas.
Yes, I can tell you it's Las Vegas, and it's probably on the Strip. But you will have to Google that. She's doing 16 dates throughout the whole entire year. So she's doing one of the smaller ones, like Lady Gaga and those guys that are just kind of doing like the smaller residencies. And she said that it's going to be hot. It's going to be all the songs that are classic Christina.
Well, it's got to be classic because she really hasn't done anything that we would know.
I'm just repeating it. So, yeah. So Christina's jumping on that bandwagon with everybody else. Not doing the club, doing the showstopper.
Well, she's too classy for the club. Yeah. She's got to do classics, so it's got to be
really, because Dirty and those songs are so classy.
Hey, you said they were classics. And
I said classics as in like back in the day, not class C.
it's got the word classy in it. Just
There you go.
spelled with an I.
It's like the beginning of it. Yeah. So she is doing her residency, and then French Montana is doing 2 years. He signed on for 2 years, but he's smart. He signed on for 2 years at Dre's, but he's also doing Dre's nightclub in Vegas and Dubai. That'd be nice, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me find my private jet to Dubai and do the nightclub there. So he already, Dre's already dropped some of his dates. They're all Saturdays, starting February. He actually just started Super Bowl weekend, and then now he's doing February 16th is like the next one, and then March 16th. So he's kind of doing once a month in Vegas, and then he flies over to Dre's Dubai and then flies back. So he'll do his little performance at the clubs too. So, and I'm sure now that this kind of gets the ball rolling for these artists, that some of the other clubs are going to probably jump on this and get some other artists into their spots. Because, I mean, granted, yes, Vegas has the hot DJs, you know, like Cascade and Skrillex and Calvin Harris and those guys. But let's be honest, they've had those residencies. And as much as people love to go see them, what's an added bonus is knowing like a Cardi B is going to be doing a show, or, you know, whoever Travis Scott, or, you know, whoever the hot artist is that's going to be doing it. So it'll be interesting to see how many more artists are going to jump on this Vegas club thing.
I think it's interesting too, because it gives you get not a concert tour type of feel, but
yeah.
But they get that concert aspect to it, and allowing them to do, you know, whatever they're going to do, whether it's, you know, some new music, especially with like a Cardi B and a French Montana.
Yeah.
But yet it still doesn't have that same, like, I'm traveling from city to city for the next, you know, 8 months and being, you know, away from home.
Right.
Do 2 nights, you know, fly out there, do it, fly home, whatever.
And also Vegas. I mean, if anybody's been in the big clubs like in Vegas or New York or Chicago or Miami, it's just that feel to it as well than just like a normal small club in a city or even a bar. Like it's just like the magic of like those big clubs of everything that's happening.
How many people do you think some of this can fit?
Well, it depends. I mean, I know like the bigger clubs in Vegas can fit about 3,000 to 4,000.
Okay.
Then the smaller clubs like XS is probably like about 1,000 to 1,500 maybe. Like, and that's packing them in at XS. Like the smaller ones and Dre's, like those are like the small. I like the smaller ones better, anyways. And I like the feel of the smaller ones too.
And there, I think it was kind of what you said. Also, they would almost have to do, because I'm just thinking, like you talked about like the Drake one, 10 million, 10 shows, $1 million a show.
And you know his set is not. I mean, let's be honest, he's not doing an hour set.
No, he's not. But I'm just thinking like so someone mentioned about, you know, the business plan for the casinos or the business plan for some of these clubs, like, you know, they're recouping this money. How? Like I get it in some aspects, but I think with the Drake one, by having you kind of said with the unannounced, you never know if he's going to come. So that means you're going to come more often, and therefore you're spending.
And also remember, the clubs aren't owned by the casinos.
Right.
Some of them, like the Wynn Hotel, he owns those clubs. But the other clubs like Amia, Marquee, and Dre's and all those are individual owners that have nothing to do with the casinos.
Right. I was just
no, but I'm saying like, so that really, they don't care about like the casinos. Like they, you know, like they're not like, oh, let's figure something out. Like what you're doing, what we're doing. I mean, the only plus is like, if you're staying at a hotel that has the club, you get to go in for free. Is like, oh, you're staying at Cosmopolitan. Oh, you get to come into Marquee for free. You don't have to pay. But they're like, Marquee has its own investors. It has really nothing to do with the Cosmopolitan owners. Like I said, really the only ones that own their clubs is Mr. Steve Wynn. he wasn't stupid. He owns his clubs, you know, in the Wynn, but all the other ones are, you know, investors that are like, oh, we're opening up a club here, and trust me, it's going to be huge. I mean, that's why like Omnia opened it, because it was like by itself, and they're like, we're going to blow everybody out of the water, but now look at the new ones that are coming in.
Mm-hmm. Just the business behind it that gets interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I said. You know, now that I mentioned 4 that just released it, I have such a feeling there's going to be so much more.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I'll keep you guys posted.
What was that?
I'll keep everybody posted when I find out, you know, who else is doing a residency.
Yeah, because it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
You know what? In a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months, it's going to be the only thing on the 5 on it. It's just going to be 5 new residencies. Boom, done. It's going to be a 5-minute show and we'll be out of here. No.
It's going to be kind of like in LA where you're just like walking down the street and you see somebody. It's going to be like Vegas now. You're just going to walk down the street and you're going to see like all these artists shopping and stuff, like they're going for lunch, because there's going to be so many of them just doing residencies, whether it's like a Christina Aguilera type residency or a club type residency. I mean, Little John is still doing Vegas all the time. So it's like, I mean, it's interesting. We'll see. All the artists are doing shows in Vegas now.
Yeah, nothing better to do. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
Was that 3?
That was 3.
Okay. So
3 was like 4. Big. 3 had like 4 parts to it. So I kind of did a little more.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what's number 4 for us tonight?
Number 4, Carlos Santana. Now, I know we talked about him a little before because I brought up how he was one of the people for Woodstock, and he might be doing Woodstock again, in my opinion. But again, they haven't released any of the artists, and I'll let you guys know when we find out. But he is doing a Supernatural North American tour. And you're like, wait, Supernatural?
That was the name of the album.
Well, the reason why it's called Supernatural is because it's making its 20th anniversary of the album.
Okay.
And the 50th anniversary of the performance at Woodstock. So he figured we'll mark the 20th anniversary of the album with a Supernatural tour. So he is doing 29 dates on this tour. And I didn't know this because I really didn't know the whole background of him, but his wife is in his band. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, his wife plays the drums.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't know that till I looked it up. So his wife is in his band, so he's going on tour with his wife, which is great because they're performing together. And the tour will also feature the Doobie Brothers, which will be a very weird mix of people.
Yeah,
going to the tour.
Trying to wrap my head around some of that right there. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they give a reason why that's the group touring with?
I don't know. I don't know what was reasoning to pick the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe because of their live musicians. I don't know. That was just me saying that right now. That is not.
Yeah, no. I was just going also from the fact we have the 20th of Supernatural, the 50th of Woodstock. Okay, let's bring the Doobie Brothers on.
Right. So the tour begins June 22nd. And he said, of course, he's going to perform, and I'll use this word again, his classic hits, which with him, I can say classic hits. And he will also add some new songs because, which I didn't know, he already dropped it.
Shani, you missed it.
January 25th.
Okay, we'll give you a pass.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So his new album came out January 25th, and it was called In Search of Mona Lisa. So if anybody is a big Santana fan, check out the new album and see. There might be some songs for you guys for some cocktails or dinner or something else. But it's called In Search of Mona Lisa, and it just came out January 25th.
I find it weird, though. You've got, I get the 20th anniversary of Supernatural, yada, yada, but you have a new album out, and yet you decide that you're going to do a tour based upon an album from 20 years ago. Like that.
Well, he's calling it the Supernatural Tour because of the 20th anniversary and the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. So
should have called it Supernatural Mona Lisa.
Right? Other people's songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said 29 dates.
29
US,
dates.
North America.
Starting. Yeah. So our Canadian friends can definitely check it out. And it's starting June 22nd.
Should have brought Rob Thomas on with him. He hasn't doing anything anymore anyway. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Maybe he'll do a special appearance in his city.
Well, and here Matchbox 20 years of Supernatural.
No, it's Doobie Brothers.
More sense the Doobie Brothers did.
It's Doobie Brothers. Do they all still have the beards? Is it like?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm envious. Mine. Yeah. Anyway.
I know.
All right. I think we saved. I don't want to say the best for last because
it's not the best.
Nice no, but we definitely need to talk about this because something happened last night in the middle of this football game. There was
there a football game? Let's be honest.
Yeah, there was.
Game.
And the right team won.
I'm not going against that. I'm just saying it was very boring. It was like lowest scoring Super Bowl. It was just.
Here's the thing that I mentioned. Okay, I was talking with a friend of mine, and since we're on the topic, we might as well bring it up anyway. I have no problem with the fact that it was low scoring because it was not like it was low scoring because they were just making ridiculous errors and just horrible plays, and this wasn't a Cleveland Browns game. Okay, this was Super Bowl, and they were both playing so defensively heavy that I think I liked it. I would have loved to see some big plays. I mean, that gets exciting and stuff like that. But everybody talking about how boring it was and everything else, and I'm like, no, boring is when either A, it's a blowout, or it's just sloppy, horrible plays. So anyway,
everybody wants action packed at these type of championship games. That's what it is.
Yeah,
and everybody has an opinion on everything, including the halftime show.
Yes. Which I guess we need to talk about just a little bit.
So here's my thing, people in my chat. I want you to, if you haven't already, I want you to think of your feelings of the halftime show, not as a DJ. Because we're always so very quick to look at things because we're DJs. And let's be honest, everybody who was watching are not DJs. They're just normal people who either like Maroon 5 or like the music or, just want to see a halftime show. So I want you guys to just kind of think about it as just not a DJ watching it, not somebody that plays their music, just as a normal person that listens to the radio or listens to, whatever you guys listen to. Just, I like music and this was a halftime show. Now your feelings might be the same, but I want you to take the DJ part of it out of your feelings. And I want people in the chat to kind of give me their thoughts of if they still feel the way they felt, if they liked it, they didn't like it, because I'm going to give you my opinion and trying to be as not DJ related from past shows to my feelings about why they picked Maroon 5, what people thought of it. And again, not as a DJ. I don't want people to think of it that way right now. Because we all have our opinion as DJs or this show or, the lights are great or this was great or the sound of this. I want you to be like if you were a normal person enjoying a concert or this, that, or not enjoying a concert. So take your feelings out of it, like Drake. Kiki.
All right. Can I weigh in?
Yeah, you want to weigh in before I go into my soapbox?
Well, I figured I'd weigh in. The chat room could do their thing, and then
yeah, I definitely want the chat to talk. And Dan, you could look at that while I'm talking.
Sure. So here is my thought on it. from this standpoint. And I'll take the DJ side out of it because that's when you start talking about, I think about like production and stuff like that.
Yeah, I want the DJ side out of it.
When I compare it to Super Bowl halftime shows of previous years, the one thing that kind of really stuck out to me that's a huge difference, or at least I felt like it was a huge difference. It felt like song, song, song. Whereas in the past, there was always seemed like there was more of a transition from a song to a song. So I wasn't stopping my feeling. Like when I'm watching it, it was like, okay, now I'm at my next song. And it felt very like stop, start to me from that standpoint. Like I said, all past shows, I felt like they would either keep the song going and suddenly it's the new song, or the gap was a lot shorter between the two. So that was my first go around. The second, I thought it was very awkward. And I had a friend of mine even kind of bring this up, where you have Maroon 5, you've got Travis Scott, you've got Big Boy, and yet here is this halftime show that features all three, and with the exception of a little guitar solo that Adam Levine did, there was no joining of the three groups. Like there was no Travis Scott not maybe necessarily doing the Cardi B part, but putting his rap over top of Girls Like You to make a new mashup, if you will. And without using the DJ term, oh well. But there was no continuity between the three either. It was just kind of like, and the exception of Adam Levine deciding to dance up there, I guess, with Big Boy. I mean, it was
Is that what he was doing? Is that what he was doing? Okay.
Standing beside of him before he
swaying. We're going to say he was swaying. We've seen artists dance on stage at Super Bowl. He was swaying. Okay.
Fair enough. So that was my viewpoint. I was not, it was not one of those shows where I left going, that was just horrible. I mean, there's been artists out there where from the sound, I didn't go, although I didn't think Adam Levine was on point with his sound. I think he kind of sounded a little funky.
Now, here's my question to you. And here's my question to the people in the chat. I want you to compare his performance to a Maroon 5 performance you've seen, whether on an award show, if you've actually seen them live in concert, or seen, and I'm not talking like music videos, I'm talking like seen Maroon 5 perform. Because
never saw him perform other than that.
Okay. Because I'll be honest, if you've seen them perform, that's what they do. It's exactly what they did at the Super Bowl.
and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say from the standpoint of that, if they felt comfortable. I don't think it was not one of those things where I felt like they were putting more space in than they should have. I mean, than they felt they should have. You know what I mean? Like it felt very natural. Like this is what we do at our concerts. But that kind of thing annoys the crap out of me when I'm at a concert. Not that every song should run one into the other.
Well, they should. But they should. At a Super Bowl.
Yes, at a Super Bowl.
You have limited time, and you know your set list, and you're not veering off your set list. It should all flow together. Yeah. Like you've been practicing this forever. I mean, it's a Super Bowl. Yeah. So I'm in agreement with you with a lot of stuff that you just said. And I'm kind of trying to read the chat while you were talking. And like I said, I love that you guys are giving me your opinion non-DJ related, because let's be honest, the millions of people that watched it are not DJs. And you have to understand that. And the fans that are Maroon 5 fans are the ones that have seen them in concert. I've seen them on the award shows. I've talked about them with you guys about like the award shows and stuff like that. So, I mean, you know, let's be honest. First of all, they came into the show with controversy as it is. You know, they accepted the show, you know, knowing that they're the band that sided with management, not with what the controversy was. And they decided to do what they do best, you know, their long running hits on the radio. Mm-hmm. So it's like, so far it's like, oh yeah, okay. That's checked off. That's checked off. That's checked off. I mean, we all knew all the songs that they were playing. As now, I'll just throw the word in, as DJs, we knew their songs because we played them at weddings and at parties. And they've been, like I said, they played their radio hits. And that's what their fans know and love. So they did what they do best. You know, they kept it simple because they're not entertainers and performers. They're, you know, they do what they do. They did their 6 songs, and then they had, you know, Travis Scott and then Big Boy to add to it. But there were no surprises from them because they're not that type of band. You know, they're not, you know, the dancing band. They're not the wow band that's going to do all this crazy stuff. Because like I said, again, if you've ever seen them on an award show, you've ever seen them live, ever seen them on a talk show, that's what they do, you know? So that's why I'm very surprised of people talking like, oh my God, they're doing what they do. So it's like, we got to kind of take that in perspective that this is who Maroon 5 is, you know? But I agree with when Travis Scott came out, there was no transition. Yes. Did Travis Scott do his hottest song and do Sicko Mode? And I'm sure the Travis Scott fans were like going crazy that he came out and did Sicko Mode. But Travis Scott, of course, did not do the radio version of Sicko Mode. So every like 3 seconds, you just hear bleep, 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 because he's going to stay true to who he is. And he's going to do his hottest song and he's going to do it his way. But again, there was no like transition of, it was kind of like, okay, Maroon 5 got done. And now here's Travis Scott. Okay, now Travis Scott is going to jump off into the crowd with his big belt. And we're going back to Maroon 5. And it was kind of like, what just happened? I have no idea. Oh, okay, we're back to my, you know, waiting room music. And I'm just kind of like bopping to it, you know, and then all of a sudden Big Boy comes out. Yes, he did Kryptonite. Love that song. You know, he was Atlanta. He came out with Kryptonite. But then he got me because he started going into The Way You Move. So now I'm getting geeked up as a person that knows his music. And I was like, oh my goodness, is there going to be an Outkast reunion?
No.
On the Super Bowl? Like, are they coming back together and there's no beef? And it's going to, like, is this going to overpower Maroon 5? I'll be so happy. And no, he just decided to do The Way You Move, and just my dreams just shattered because I really thought there was going to be like this big Outkast reunion and Andre 3000 was going to like come out on stage and they're going to hug it out and everything. So
yeah, but keep in mind, The Way You Move also was off the album where they did the split.
Right. I know. Okay. I mean, he had Sleepy, whatever the guy, the other guy singing the hook. Yeah. But I just kind of thought that all of a sudden there was going to be like this like Outkast reunion. Like he was going into that. And I was like, yeah, no, because that would have been so awesome at the Super Bowl in Atlanta. Outkast reunion. Tell me that would have been like me.
Oh, that would have been yeah. In the same respect, that would have stolen the show for sure.
Right. So again, when Big Boy came out, you know, driving in the car and everything, it was like, where's the transition? Like again, it was just like, okay, we all know like Maroon 5 knew Travis Scott was on the bill and they knew Big Boy was on the bill, but it was just like that no transition. And as you saw, Maroon 5 was still on stage during these performances, but if you really saw it, the guest artists had like no interaction
right
with Maroon 5. It was like they were just like the backup people to their songs. And you even kind of saw like Adam trying to get into like the Big Boy set. And it was just really awkward. Like you said, he was, you know, dancing, and I kind of said, no, he's swaying. But it was just like it was like, oh, please, baby, stop. No, boo-boo. Like, just go to the background first, you know, take your shirt off, then back there, and then come back, you know, like whatever. So it was weird that they just didn't acknowledge each other, where in the past, when the guest artists would come in, it was like that smooth transition, and they had that acknowledgement, and that just bond. And it was like, okay. So it was kind of like, okay, here's Maroon 5 doing the halftime. We threw in the hip hop. We threw in Atlanta. Okay, now let's go back to Sugar.
Yeah.
You know, and there you go. So like, in my opinion, to kind of put it out there, did the band sound good? Yeah, for Maroon 5 and what Maroon 5 does, they sounded good. They will be loved. They just probably won't be remembered for what they did as a halftime show. But they did what they do. It was just weird transitions with, you know, the hip hop and the Atlanta.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you explain to me? Because I'm not a video watcher, I'll be honest, when it comes to things. What was the point of SpongeBob going into Travis Scott?
Well, that was part of his Astroworld tour.
That was okay. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't 100% sure on it. And so when it happened, I was like, that's got to be what that's from. But it was just, it was just out of nowhere. And that was actually what the funny thing was, that was almost like the closest two elements were put together throughout the entire thing, because they just finished that song and it goes into that. And my wife looks at me and goes, what the heck is going on? And I was like, I had a feeling it was the Travis Scott point that was coming up. And I was just like, just watch.
Yeah. Now I know, I'm kind of just looking at the chat, and I know they are talking about him taking his clothes off. But if you guys remember, who was it on stage? I can't think right now because my brain still isn't functioning. The rock band with Flea and
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Thank you. They perform without their shirts on too. So an artist at the Super Bowl without
did they for that one?
Yeah, he had his shirt off big time. They bolted.
Okay. I remember that was also an outdoor one that was so bitter cold. That's what I was thinking. Maybe they did.
Both had their shirt off. If somebody could, they both had their shirt off. So like, to me, it's not like I mean, again, if you've seen Adam Levine, like in his concerts and stuff, that's what he does.
Yeah.
So it wasn't out of the norm for him to do it. It was just kind of weird. Let's start with the coat. Now let's take the jacket off. Now let's take like, that was a little weird for me. Like, but then again, he was probably wearing designers that he had to wear to get their, to how that works with the red carpet and stuff like that. But yeah, that's nothing new. I mean, for rock artists to perform at the Super Bowl without a shirt on. But it was just, we'll just put it as it's not going to be in anybody's top 5. I could already tell you guys that. Yeah.
Although the comments were, Adam Levine shows 2, Janet Jackson showed 1, Adam Levine wins.
Yeah.
We're just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Like I said, I mean, for them, they did what they do.
Right.
They're not dancers. They're not flashy. They're not showmanship. They're not none of their, if you've ever seen them perform live or talk show or award show, that's what they do, and then, like I said, they threw in the hip hop to make people happy. And they threw in Piece of Atlanta to make people happy. It was just a very weird transition for anybody, for a normal person or a DJ.
Well, and I'm surprised that they didn't, I don't know. Like you said, they do what they do. I get that. And on a large stage, in some aspects, you don't want to deviate it from too much, because one, if something goes wrong, that's what gets remembered, not necessarily anything else. But it kind of surprises me that, again, something wasn't done to try and somehow blend things a little bit better, to kind of have, Travis Scott or Big Boy come out. Like we've seen when there's been a second or a third artist come on that they've decided to kind of incorporate.
It's been great.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm thinking back to Who all was it? Was it NSYNC, Britney Spears, and Aerosmith? Like back in like early 2000s?
Yeah.
Again, very disjointed. I mean, NSYNC and Britney, yeah, but Aerosmith, very disjointed, and yet came together and did this, at least part of it all as one. And it was good. I mean, remember it this many years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, is this going to hurt them? Is this going to help them? Neither. They're just going to, they're still going to have the same fans they always had. The women that love them are still going to love them for what they did. And the people that always didn't like them are still not going to like them. Did they gain any extra fans? That I can't tell you. If somebody watched it and was like, oh, now I'm a fan of Maroon 5, that I can't tell you.
Sometimes we talk about coming off of performance shows and stuff like that, movies, etc. We're going to see an upswing with the music. I really think with the way this was done, no, like with what you said, any new fans, you might have a couple that go, oh, I kind of hadn't really thought about them recently, whatever, and they decided to go back and listen to some old tracks or something like that, maybe, but I really don't see that. I don't see suddenly getting a request for Maroon 5 at my upcoming event
because of the Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
Right. No, I agree, and like I said, when I was giving my little synopsis, I mean, we really don't know how many groups or artists turned down the Super Bowl before it got to Maroon 5. We know some of them who came out and said, I was asked. I turned it down because of the controversy. So for all we know, maybe there were 3, maybe there were 5, maybe there were 10. We really don't know how many really did turn it down. But we also know why the Super Bowl picks certain artists now because of the whole Janet Jackson type controversy as well. So I just think this year it was kind of just really, really in the public eye with the whole controversy and then other artists. And then they're like, oh, and then Atlanta started, as I talked about it on shows 2 or 3 months ago, how then the people of Atlanta were freaking out and was like, really, the show's going to be in Atlanta and then that's who you pick. And, so then they had to throw in the Atlanta flavor. Then it was like, then they had to throw in who's one of the hottest artists right now. Okay, Travis Scott's coming off his Astroworld tour that has been sold out and on the Billboard charts and, all the youngins like him. Okay, let's just throw a Travis Scott in there. Granted, it was like, I don't know, a verse and a chorus. I think it was the only thing he did. I mean, it was so short. I mean, of course, like I said, they bleeped out almost every other word because he definitely didn't do the radio version, but it was so short with the Travis Scott that I was just like, what? It was like, okay, you couldn't even like make nachos or go to the bathroom because he was already off screen. And I was like, okay, well, check the hip hop off of there. Okay, now they could at least say they did that. And like I said, and now back to sugar, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So, maybe the marketing team is now like, okay, I think we need to rethink what we're going to do for the next show.
I hope so. Just from the standpoint of, it gets hyped up, it gets talked about ahead of time that, here's this awesome performance. And it wasn't. I mean, even last year's with Justin Timberlake, I liked the performance a little bit better, but there was nothing that was really a wow behind that. And you come to expect that for so many years. Yeah. So the question is, why is that suddenly like last year? I think it was